Okay, just doing a quick rig rundown of the latest board, what I'm using, for anyone who's interested. So starting off, Yamaha Revstar. I've been using this for the live shows for a little while now. It's been pretty rock solid, to be honest. I don't think you can get a much better guitar for the money. I do have I've got a bit of a fret buzz problem there, but we're going to ignore that for this. So we're going to start with the Valeton GP5. This is my amp at the minute. So I have gone through lots of different ways of running direct. The one that I probably stuck with and loved the most was the Universal Audio Ruby. It's just a Vox in a box. So I've really tried to recreate that here. I do actually use the DSM Humboldt Simplifier Mark II. I've been using that as well, but it just doesn't necessarily do the thing that I want it to. I'm not sure, maybe if I just haven't sat with it for long enough, but it's just not there for me. It's not quite doing the Voxy thing that I want to hear. Whereas I've tried to get the Valeton as close to the Ruby as possible. I think I've done well. I might pop some settings up on the screen as well if I remember to do that. But yeah, everything on full on the bridge sounds like this. Yeah, it's nice. It does clean up when you roll off. Right. Although the clean sound, I do like it just to have some hair on there as well. So I've just put the JHS Whitey Tightey back on the board, which is a compressor. Given that I have to sing and play and tap dance all at the same time, if picking dynamics can just be one less thing that I have to think about during a performance, the better, you know. So this isn't always on. One of my favorite things about this is that it's got a blend knob on there as well. So I absolutely crank the compression up to max, and then I'll just sort of blend back in the dry signal, which you do just by turning that way. Yeah, so at the moment it's around mid. Back off there. Yeah, so that's always on at the minute. There was a time actually where I used to use this as sort of like an underdrive. So what I would do is actually turn the volume down, and then I would actually turn it off in order to get more gain. Yeah, I don't do that anymore, but it's always a good idea. Cool, next up we have the RAT. Everyone's heard of RAT. RATs are amazing. We all love RATs. Generally I do have this set to just like basically as low as the distortion can go without affecting the volume too much. So that's for the rhythm stuff, but as soon as you start to turn it up, it's where the magic happens, and it basically is a fuzz. Right? So with the Whitey Tightey back on. And generally I do turn up the gain on there for more heavily affected things, like the solo in Want You Sometimes. It just sustains in a really nice way. Which actually brings me on to the next pedal, which is the Nobels Del Mini. I tend to have this pretty much on the one setting, which is analog, so it's a bit darker sounding. Right, if I turn that mix down a little bit. So what's really cool about this is that if you hold it for a couple of seconds, it does have a built-in tap tempo. I've actually found that I don't really use the tap tempo, if I'm honest, because I generally find that there's a sweet spot on the time setting. I just leave it there, really. I might turn the mix up a bit for that song just because it's supposed to be quite washy. Is that the mix? Yeah. Sorry, you're upside down to me. Alright. So it sounds a bit like that. Yep. Okay, so back onto the Valeton. So what I've got here is like a MIDI controller which controls the different modules within here. I've got it set up in a way that I know that I'm only ever going to use one particular reverb sound for one thing or one chorus sound for one thing, and I've also put a tube screamer on there just for safe measure. So if we look at the reverb, it's supposed to be quite luscious, right? I mean, I could probably turn the mix up a little bit on that, but when it comes to the solo for Want You Sometimes, where all of that is on, sounds a bit like this. Right, cool. So if I knock all of those off, where the blue light is here, I've actually got the chorus set up. I don't use it too much, but there's a couple of songs in the set where it does come in handy. Right, and then I can just kick that back on. That'll be around there for the chorus. Yeah. So if I put the tube screamer back on there, actually, what I'll do, because I can use the tube screamer for like All That We've Become, for example. And then for the solo section in that. Right. Sorry, I put the chorus on there. On here is just a bit of fun. So it's a bit of a auto wire at the minute. Just because I needed something. There's only you can only use one module per button, right? You can't have like two reverbs or two distortions or anything. So just for a bit of fun at the minute, I've got an auto wire on there. Right, that is my audition for Fine Line. Thank you for watching. Lastly, this is actually a tuner as well. So I did actually buy this to be a backup for the simplifier. But now that I've kind of sat with it and I've dialed in the amp sound that I like, I just figured, well, what's the point, you know? Other than being able to just kneel down and change some settings, there's really nothing that I can't do on here, which is a fraction of the price. So apart from the fact it's got some XLR outs there as well, which is pretty cool. But yes, I would recommend any of these pedals to anyone, especially the GP5. It can be really an all-in-one, even if it's just a backup. I mean, I've got a tuner that's more expensive than this and it's got one built in there. But yeah, that's a very quick rundown. I hope you've learnt something from this or just enjoyed learning about gear. Yeah,